Yo, what up, what up, what up? Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I got a new banger for you guys for the live lesson today. I'm the CEO, Caleb Dunbar, Kingship Mindset. Yes, sir, yes, sir. So this last lesson is going to be the 10 most effective ways to finish what you start. You know, a lot of times people don't attend to finish what they start because they have certain things that holds them back. So we're going to go over each one and actually give you the solutions to actually fix each one. So I know you guys are going to enjoy this one. This is a banger. So here we go. Let's get right on into it. So without further ado, typically I have an agenda list. You know, today I don't want to do no agenda list. No agenda list. We're going to just get ready to take notes. I'm going to get right on into it. So the first one I have for those who actually don't really aware of this, you know, choosing the wrong starting points. You know, a lot of times people choose the wrong starting points in the sense of like not understanding, okay, I want to start this project and this and like that. They choose the wrong starting point. They don't have it organized accordingly of understanding as levels. You have to know when to start something in the sense of what area to perfect and what area to actually start to create first. So a lot of times people don't have the right starting points. So the really solution for that is understanding before you take up a task or a project, ask yourself, why am I doing this? If the answer is based on some external factors that you don't feel too strongly about and different from your own purpose, chances are you won't be able to carry it out. It's clearly that simple in the sense of whenever you're trying to figure out where to start something that and actually start to go for it and start to get that ball rolling, you know, you got to ask yourself on inside, it's like, why am I doing this? And that's actually going to be the driving force to see it through. So really ask yourself, how do you go about starting things? That's probably the key thing that makes it very hard to finish something that you started. You want to go into that. Okay. So the second pointer, wrong time allegations. Wrong time allegations, no time allegations. So really ask yourself in this regard, you know, every project or any task has four major phases: idea, planning, execution, and finish, obviously. But an idea cannot be planned indefinitely, infinitely, or executed forever. Spending too much time in developing an idea and planning can lead to the idea and the enthusiasm dying out. So can a length execution phase. So let's really get into the solution standpoint. Solution: allocate enough amount of time for each phase. Once the time is over, move on to the next and then next. Maintaining a rhythm that will keep the momentum going and ensure the idea does not die out at any one stage. So really ask yourself in regards to whenever you got something going for yourself, sometimes you feel like you be stuck on like, man, I need to think of this. I need to think of an idea to fix it. I need to think of an idea to fix it. You think about that so much, it exhausts you to a point like, oh man, I got the idea, but I don't want to put out this. I don't want to lay out all this and like that. How about you actually start to time yourself when you do each one? Give yourself a voted time. Whatever idea you come up in 20 minutes, cool. Let me do 20 minutes of plan. Let me do 20 minutes of that. It gets you more productive in understanding how to just to go for something, you know, strategically. So definitely recommend that. And that's basically what this is saying in regards to, you know, whenever people don't understand how to actually organize themselves in that regard. So that's the second pointer. Now, the third pointer, perfectionist block. It really asks yourself in this regard too, and think about this. A lot of people give up things in the middle that they consider they cannot perform too well at. And in such cases, finishing seems like submitting yourself to judgment in a potential situation in which you may be criticized, looked down upon, or poorly judged by others. Does that really understand yourself and understand, you know, no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. And those who actually point out things that you may have done wrong in whatever task that you're going for, then they're wrong. Because those people are being pickiness. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing between, like, for instance, like, you know, LeBron James. He's one of the greatest of all time ever do it. Has he been perfect? Even Michael Jordan, has he ever been perfect? There's no such thing as perfection. But the thing about it is that as long as you go for it, that's what truly matters. So the solution is really to fix those who actually have perfectionist block. You know, you may finish a task still doubting your own performance, but the important thing is that you finished. And if you realize you can have done better, then consider this an opportunity to learn and receive valuable feedback, which you can apply to your future performances. And that's what life is about, going for it. And then whenever they tell you or whoever tells you some feedback, take it in with a grain of salt and adapt it accordingly. And that's how you become more and more. It's called experience for a reason. Experience. So the fourth point, fear of failure. I think everybody struggles with this one in particularly, but really ask yourself in regards to, why do you feel failure? You know, is it from your own seated of understanding like, man, I want to be so great and this and like that, but I'm scared to fail? Well, you got to understand, for me, my slogan is I reach for the stars, but let's say I don't get the fucking stars. What if I reach the other planets? That's still great. So what the fuck is wrong with that? So the psychology of failure, you want to understand, like, okay, worst case scenario, I know I'm going to get this, boom. So, but the high end, this is what I'm aiming for. So you give all your energy effort for the high end and make that be your measure. And anything less is not nothing to be mad about, because of the fact that matters when you push yourself and have that bar high, you're going to be above the average in the results that you're going to get. So really the solution, if you really struggle with that, really understand, when I confessed to my fears and doubts about my imaginative incapability to swim with, because I couldn't swim with my father one evening, he suddenly strict. Okay, hold on. So really ask yourself in this regard, because this is my own situation of understanding the scenario base. So really ask yourself in this: how many times have you been in a furious situation, or like you was like, man, I don't want to fail to disappoint somebody else. Now, when you get older, you understand. Put that within yourself and only disappoint yourself. That's how you want to go about that. And if you disappoint yourself, that's okay, because you can fix that. But when you put your, measure of success and stuff like that to somebody else's hands, then unfortunate to say, you're going to be looking to please other people for a long time to come. And that's not okay. You want to have your own standpoint of power within yourself, and knowing that you're doing the best that you can. All right. So let's go to the next one. So multi-dimensional goals. Multi-directional goals. I'm sorry, I didn't spell the word wrong. Now, this is the fifth pointer. So really think about this. It's the same as moving in all directions, but getting nowhere. Taking up too many tasks or projects exceptionally, or especially if they are unrelated, can exhaust you physically and mentally. If you have more than you can chew, it is highly likely that you won't see any of your projects to the finishing point. Really ask yourself that. If you can't juggle, there's some people who can juggle, but really think about that. How many things, just like how the pictures you see, how many things can you really, really, really take upon yourself and really be able to do, maximize it wise? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, to really be successful in a lot of money and stuff like that, aka Grant Cardone, some very famous people like that, they do a multitude of things. The thing about it is that before you can take on a lot of things, you got to be so great at one thing first, and you've seen it through so many times, it becomes second nature to you. Boom, I can take on another thing while still maintaining the same thing. Boom, I can take on another thing. You can still start to compile the essence of what you can handle. The more you practice and finishing one thing or doing one goal so many times, you already know that you got the confidence of making sure that can happen. So the solution for that, if you really have that type of problem, is taking on things, take up one project or activity at a time, focus on it, turn down other tasks, explaining your situation, move in one direction and totally commit to that one task you're engaged in. Finish the task at hand before taking on another one. You start with baby steps, and after a while, you can start to take on so many things like that. And it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? So now the sixth pointer, size does matter. Really think about this. Size does matter. Sometimes the task in hand is tenacious and it really demanding that we shy away from them. It is almost the same procrastination that we practiced before initiating that project. Does that mean we should not take on big projects or difficult tasks? Tricky question right there. Tricky question right there. So the solution for this is to really understand this. The key to handling such big projects is to break them down into smaller, actionable, and achievable tasks and activities that allocate a definite time frame for completion to each of them. Dividing a big project into small categories and further subcategories makes you get a hold of things and activities becomes less intimidating and more achievable. So you just break down something, whatever big, into bullet points. I typically do that myself. Okay. Like for instance, let's say, what do you have to do? Wash your car. What is the biggest objective is to wash the damn car, but you have to do all these little goals itself before you want to accomplish that big task that you want to do. Let me go get a bucket. Let me go get towels. Let me go get a vacuum cleaner. Let me go do all these things like that to get ready for this task at hand. So really break yourself down, because some things may take a long time, for AKA washing a house and stuff like that. You're going to have to worry about your own personal health. You ain't got water. You got to worry about this. Can you get help? A lot of other things, but just saying, and that's just physical things, but imagine the actual project at hand. You know what I'm saying? So really break it down into categories itself in your day-to-day life. And then you go from there. It's just that simple. Take on something, and if it's so big to you, break it down to easy 5 steps. And okay, it's not that big. Get it done. So now the seventh one. Step 1, underestimated the length of the task. Some tasks takes a long time. Sometimes we take up long-term tasks but lose interest midway, because with time, our interest is inspiration and goals get new meanings. We get up one morning and suddenly feel ourselves wondering why we took on this project in the first place. I think we all have done that in regards to actually do something for ourselves and really be like, man, bro, I didn't realize this is going to take so damn long to actually accomplish. For instance, like being an entrepreneur. A lot of people don't know what it takes to actually get to that level of true success. Some people do, some people don't. But they don't really know all the grit and grain that you got to actually fight for and get through. So really understanding that what it really takes, you have to really get your mind mental and ready for that. But a lot of people aren't. So the real thing to really solution to really go about this and really to get through those things is to not focus on the length of task at all. not to focus on all those things like that. For instance, focus on the baby steps. Be motivated about the little things that you have to get done. Get lost in that. It's called getting lost in the progress. Get lost in the process. Does that make sense? So, for instance, like if your task feels like it's a fucking stairwell, well, focus on every step and be happy about every step, because you know every step is leading up towards something. And when you look back them days, you be like, "Damn, I'm coming a long way." That's what gives you motivation, and also to people around you. You know, people around you gonna compliment you along the way. So, really focus on those things to be more in a sense of getting motive. So, the eighth step, the eighth pointer, shutting out distractions and interruptions. It's really self-explanatory on those things. Finishing is all about maintaining focus. To ensure a focused approach and to put on board your best performance, all distractions should be moved out of the way. The radio playing in the background can hamper your performance without you even realizing it. So really ask yourself in those regards of what the things that you have around you that's actually slowing down your progress. You know, actually slowing down what you're actually trying to do in your life. You know, your women, you know, phone, you know, your job, like, you know, what in particular that you feel that you really know, because everybody truly knows what's holding them back, but they allow it to hold them back. So the solution that when you sit down to finish the task, turn that TV or radio off, close all other windows, especially your phone and stuff like that, except the one that you are working on, log out of all your social media and chat accounts, and for some time, mentally close your to-do list in your head. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I kid you not, whenever I decided to more so, since I created my focus zone, I've got so much stuff done. The reason why is that you get to spend time with yourself. So a lot of people, they tend to get distracted or like that because they don't want to spend time with themselves to get their goals really done. So really ask yourself, do you really want to be successful, or you really want to get this shit done? Because if so, you're going to get it done. So ask yourself, do you really want it? Because I know I do. Because the shit that I've done all my life, where I was to where I'm now, I'm a big picture, and we can get into that in a little bit longer. So now, the ninth pointer, you know, flowing but not moving. A lot of people are just getting it, doing this and like that, cool, but they're not moving, if that makes sense. So let me break it down for you. It is easy to be blown away trying to keep up with simple things like a job, housework, and your daily routine. Your ever growing to-do list ensure that you completely lose track of how life is moving and just keep switching from one task to another without realizing your actual goal. So the solution to this is to take charge. First things first, do not be overwhelmed. If there is a lot to do, don't keep it in your head. Jot it down in your little notebook and feed it into your phone. Next assignment, a time for, next assign a time for it to be done. Be a self-starter. Design the first working hour of the day to set the right tone for the rest of the day by planning your days to do. The best way to start with what you left unfinished the day before. Finish each day and be done with it. It's that crystal clear, it's that broken down, and it's that to the point for yourself to really understand how to go about accomplish things and how to go about actually being in the present moment of hand. Sometimes when you're actually done with a task, just be like, let me get a gratitude for that. And it's like, that was amazing. On to the next one. Give yourself a breather between the tasks. You can do that. We're all human. So now the final pointer that I have, you guys, nothing is trivial. Now, obviously, you don't know what that means. So let me break it down. Sometimes we are so focused on the end goals that the smaller task at hand that is required to be finished seem too trivial to be worked at. We keep ourselves busy tracking schedules, planning and attending meetings, and the smaller task gets ignored. But in the end, it is still little loose ends that crop up and stop us from finishing what we started. So the real solution for this in particular is, remember, it is the small steps that lead to the biggest destinations of our life. It don't get no better than that. It is important to achieve the same amount of importance to every task that you take up, for it is, excuse me, you take up for these small steps and little goals achieved on the way that paves the way for bigger achievements. The small things. There's no such thing as a big thing if you don't do the small things. How do you think buildings are being built? It looks gigantic, but they did so many small things to make that big picture. Everything in life is all about mastering the small things. You master the fundamentals, you can do anything. It's that simple. So to really wrap all this up and to sum it around with you guys is to really understand, we all experience this at some stage. We start off with a brilliant idea full of energy and enthusiasm, but somewhere along the way, this energy fades away and we lose sight of the end goal. It is this ability to follow through each project, task, and goal at hand that, we really, really, really understand, and really understand the differentiations from the original ideas from the ones and the successful ones. Really, really realize that in your life. How many things and how many dope ideas have you came across for yourself? I'm like, man, I really want to get that done, but it's going to require a lot of work. You automatically be like, the starting the part was just getting an idea. I'd rather somebody else do it for me. You know, in the sense of COVID, the pandemic actually exposed more lazy people than they have active people. So a lot of people don't have people around them that actually holds them accountable and actually help them get out of that. And also too, a lot of people don't have people who they tell ideas to that actually want to support them and be there for them. So particularly for me, you are welcome, welcome, welcome to Mesh Me the word finish. In the sense of finished, I'm done procrastinating. I'm done starting stuff and not wanting to get it done. I'm saying? You're welcome to hit me up, IG at Kingship Mindset or Facebook, Caleb Dunbar. And, we can get a dope little free brain session on the house with your boy. I mean, actually talk about some dope ideas because, for myself, I've done a lot of amazing things for myself, accomplished amazing degrees, books, clothing store, just all kind of stuff, travel 20 plus countries, I got podcasts, I got all this stuff going for myself. So basically I'm the type of guy, when I start something, I look to finish it. And if I finish it the best of my abilities, I'm saying, before I move on to something. Or if I take on all these things, I know myself now, and I spend time with myself and hold myself accountable, that I'm going to finish something. So if you need that type of advice, that type of accountability, welcome to hit me up with the word, finish, and we can get it going. So with that being said, I hope you got amazing value out of this live lesson, and I hope to hear from you soon. You have a great night.